Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Corporation's Fireside Chat. I'm joined today by Alex McDougall, President of FUTR Corporation, and we're looking forward to discussing several exciting developments across FUTR Payments, the FUTR AI agent ecosystem, and the company's expanding data and brand partner network. Before we proceed, let me remind everyone that statements made today may be considered forward-looking within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995 and applicable securities laws. Actual results may differ materially from those expressed or implied due to risks and uncertainties described in the company's SEDAR filings, including its periodic reports and investor materials. FUTR undertakes no obligation to update forward-looking statements except as required by law. Following a brief company overview provided by Alex today, we have a few questions that we have received in advance that we will review. For those of you who have not yet submitted your questions, please feel free to send them through the Q&A function at any time. If we do not address your questions during today's session, please email us at future@kcsa.com and we'll respond back to you as soon as possible. Please note that this call is being recorded on today, Thursday, December 18th, 2025, and a replay will be available on FUTR's Investor Relations website within 24 hours of the conclusion of today's call. With that, I would like to formally welcome Alex to today's Fireside Chat. And Alex, I'll pass it over to you to walk us through an overview of the FUTR Corporation.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rob. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's time and attention here. It's been a really fun and interesting year for the FUTR Corporation. So 9 months ago, when we first started this conversation, AI agents were something that was talked about in Y Combinator and something new that's cool and coming a little bit further down the pipe, and keep an eye out for this. 9 months later, they're here. They're being delivered through every possible channel, whether it's ChatGPT or AI-based browsers or your favorite fintech company. AI agents are permeating everywhere. FUTR Corporation and our agent is doing three key things completely differently than everybody else. First off, this is an agent that gets stuff done for you. And not just regular things like ordering you food or telling you information. The FUTR agent does complex financial transactions, can find and bind insurance quotes. It can optimize your loan on your auto and your house and save you hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest. It can, if you're a renter, it can take your rental receipt and report it to credit bureaus in order to build out your credit profile. This is something that can do and save you time and money by leveraging agentic AI to perform complex financial transactions. And it can do that because it's built on a custom AI stack that is not made for billions. It's made for one. It's made for you. So all of your data accrues to the same small language model. All of your data is going for a high fidelity output. You're able to audit the data that goes in, audit the data that comes out, and why you're making that decision. And then the third key differentiating factor for FUTR, forever and ever and ever, the model has been, hey, I click a button, all my data goes to Google or Meta or even ChatGPT, gets monetized in the back end, and I end up with a shiny, nice social media platform or a search engine. For the first time ever now, when you're putting in data to train your own sovereign AI and train your own engine, you're getting compensated and you're getting paid for that data in FUTR tokens. So there's three key things that are different about what FUTR is doing. FUTR acts proactively on your behalf. FUTR protects, keeps everything in one vault that maximizes context, maximizes auditability, and maximizes protection. And FUTR rewards. So all of your data that's going in to train this, you're getting compensated for. Now, there's other elements of other companies that sit within this model. There's other people who are optimizing payments. There's other people who are paying rewards. There's other people who are paying you for your data. This whole fintech rewards bubble, whether it is Drop or Honey or PayPal or any of those fintech type platforms. There's obviously other consumer AI infrastructure out there, whether it's ChatGPT or Perplexity or Google Gemini. And there's other personal data infrastructure as well, whether it's G Drive or Dropbox or Inrupt or Brave or any of these things together. There's nothing quite like what FUTR is doing, though, that's taking elements of all of those and combining them in a new way to deliver what is effectively a new paradigm. There's nothing that can take your personal data, allow you to use your consumer AI infrastructure with it behind, effectively a firewall, and then leverage that combination to go and find you the best rewards and find you the best financial services. So pulling that all together feels like more of a life operating system, a personal life management system. It's something that doesn't exist out there right now. And effectively, this is agentic AI for banking and financial services. When you look at all of the other pieces of technology, it's a lot of things that we've seen before delivered as monoline solutions or delivered as independent solutions. Consumer banking applications and workflow, loyalty rewards and tokens, data storage, digital wallets, the other traditional banking services that are rolled in there. Put all together and powered up through an AI agent that's trained by a sovereign data pool makes for an incredibly valuable and incredibly efficacious solution. We currently earn $8 million, the Future Corporation over as a whole, from the AI-powered auto loan optimization service, which I'll cover more in a moment. So what does this actually look like?
Hey, Brad, are you ready to pick up where we left off on your auto insurance? Or did you want to talk about something else?
So it's simple, it's easy, it's big, it's bright, it lives in your pocket, it's always trained, it bugs you to do the things that you don't want to be bugged to do, which are probably the most important things to do out there. It's trained on your data, it keeps everything safe and protected, and pays you for everything that goes into it. So taking a few steps back, the agent's the interface up top. You customize the agent, make it look like whatever you want. So I have a whole bunch of really cool things rolling out in Q1 on that side. But fundamentally, when we say future acts, we're talking about two key different things. And there's two ways that these are delivered. And this is as much business model as functionality. When we think about optimizing an auto loan, we're using future intelligence. We're using the future payment rails in order to make those payments on users' behalf. We're able to do that entirely in a self-contained way. But future can't write you an insurance policy. So when we're working and looking with brand partners, we're creating this elevated brand experience by leveraging a future agent for onboarding, for ongoing customer service, for rewarding, and all of that side. So future can help you find better deals, can help you onboard, it can reward you for the data that goes into that. When you actually execute a policy or execute a loan or execute on that side, all of that data comes back into the agent. You can ask it questions about that policy and those contracts and all of that data. So it gives you an elevated brand experience. So when we think about future acts, it's really future directly delivering services and future curating brand partnerships and curating brand experiences as well. And then all of your rewards go into a digital wallet that's baked right into the application in the agent, and everything accrues at the bottom into a private vault and a private knowledge graph where all of your data lives there. You can query it, do any calculations that you want, ask anything about any document, any combination of documents, all of that context all lives together there. So let's dig in a little bit. So the one proven use case and the one place that we've scaled this business already is really around auto loan optimization. So just to give an example, you show up to the engine with an auto loan. We actually deliver this through auto dealers, and I'll talk about a little bit more about that. The agent reads it, and says, "Hey, this is how the bank wants you to pay it once a month. Pay it off over 5 years. Pay this much in interest. This is how you should be paying it. Let's chop up those payments, move a couple earlier so you're making more payments in a year. There's a prepayment clause that you didn't read because nobody ever reads all their documents, but I read it because I'm an agent. Let's scrape out a little bit more from each paycheck so we can make sure that we're hitting that prepayment allowance at the end of the year. And if you do all of that, you can save $2,000 in interest across the life of this loan and get out of your loan 4 to 6 months earlier." Now, ChatGPT can tell you that information when you put a loan doc in. It's not the best at math sometimes, but it can try. But the big difference here is there's a big glowing red button that says, "Go and do this for me with Future." We're connected to 1,500 banks in the US right now. We're paying out over 900 lenders. We've paid out over $3 billion in loan value across 300,000 consumers. So we have 45,000 active consumers today who are every month having Future pay their loan for them for their auto loan. And those consumers are generated from 250 enterprise auto dealers that we have on the platform right now. And that's where $8 million in revenue comes from. Recently in November, we signed a new distribution deal with a great national partner in the US called TaxMax. That adds an additional 800 dealers to the footprint. And so we're really excited about the future and the upcoming potential growth in this business and this side of the market. So on the brand side, thinking from going from services and other future services would be rent reporting, would be potentially financial planning, budgeting, those things that can really be done directly by the agent. On the future brand side, we were just invited down by Deloitte to New York to present some of the insurance brand partnerships and technology that we're working on. Future really acts as a transparent matchmaker between brands and consumers. And if you think about, focusing on insurance for a moment, the way the customer acquisition strategy has worked historically, billboards, expensive television commercials, Google sponsored AdWords, just a lot of sort of big, broad approach and big, broad spray. Low cost per impression, low conversion per impression. You gross that up and you end up with cost of acquiring a customer that can hit $1,500 or even 2,000. What we're offering and what we're proposing with Future is a completely different model. The intents and the leads that come out of an engine like this are entirely data driven. So you know exactly the time to expiry, you know exactly the details of the current policy. It's high intent, so this is a validated and the person behind it has an intent to actually take advantage of that offer. It has an intelligent agent that's able to explain the offer out to the end consumer. And ultimately, you're not paying cents per click for that. You're paying hundreds of dollars per potentially per financial lead. But the total cost of acquiring a customer, because the conversion rate is quite a bit higher, can be still quite a bit lower than the traditional model. Our goal, and again, this is a goal, is to reduce the cost of acquiring a customer in every vertical that we touch by 25%. And that's a big, hairy, audacious goal, but we think that we can do it with some really good technology that we're building here. And this is really where the matchmaking part comes in. Consumers are rewarded for the data that they put in order to create these intents, to harden their profile, and really to create, the pool of data that an agent trains on. And then brands are able to pay in order to access that, and in order to access that pool of capital and access those pools of leads. And then Future in the middle, given we're playing that matchmaker role, are making a commission on that transaction. So that's really how the brand economics work. And I'll talk about how this all fits together in a moment. When we think about our relationship with brands, though, it's not a one-way street. We're not throwing customers over the fence and saying, hey, we'll take our affiliate fee and see you later. It really is a two-way street when we engage with brands. Yes, we are helping brands to grow their market share proactively with really good data and really good leads. But brands are also able to connect Future as a value-added service, have the data replicated within the agent, use it for customer service, use it for proactive renewal, use it for proactive retention, and really take advantage of that whole suite of solutions to get a deeper relationship with their own consumers. And ultimately, brands are ending up getting compensated for each user that joins the platform as well. So it really is this symbiotic relationship where we're adding users, but brands are also adding users to the platform. And how does that all come together in terms of economics? When we think about services, when we think about the existing batch of services that we're able to deliver, we're looking at loan optimization in both the auto and potentially the mortgage space. We're able to earn about $100 USD a year net of cost of acquiring a customer on that business. And that works out to about $9 or $10 a month USD on that side. So there's this really good nucleus of core simple revenue with high growth, high margins, and the ability to significantly expand. But all of that generates incredible data, which is what flows into the brand side and what flows into these data profiles, along with all the engagement that a user's having with the agent. So when you're thinking about the secondary stream of monetization in terms of brand revenues and in terms of the commissions, it's all based around that data that flows out from underneath it. So we've accomplished a lot in Q4. We initiated the agent. We minted the first Future tokens. We've announced several of our initial partnerships in the insurance space, the auto refinancing space, started to grow out the dealership network. But really a lot is coming online through 2026 as well. So broader launches of the application, broader launches of the token, launching of additional features. So it is some potential acquisitions around additional features for that, and a growth in the pipeline of services and brands. So it's going to be very exciting coming up after a big year in 2025 that we accomplished a lot. On the leadership team, we have a really strong team. Myself, for those who don't know, M&A background, and then had a venture fund that was really focused around the intersection of AI and blockchain. So I've been really building in this space for quite some time. I've built a stablecoin company and raised some capital from Coinbase on that side as well. And have been working with a really strong team, including Scott Patterson, one of the legendary Canadian venture capitalists and entrepreneurs in the country. So very strong team. We've also added a phenomenal group of advisors this year. Damien Fozzard, who's built high reliability AI systems for NASA, Airbus, and Boeing. And most recently, Dave Zitting, who is a mortgage expert and has built one of the largest mortgage originators in the US. Also, Dr. Jason Schwartz, who previously ran consumer AI at was as the lead data scientist at Manulife, has joined the team as well. So really strong group. Just bringing it all together, and then we can dig into some of the questions here. There's a differentiated value proposition for Future. This act, reward, protect framework is different than what other folks are doing. There's proven financial utility. 300,000 people have used this, and 300,000 people have have trusted the Rails to deliver this platform. There's mutually reinforcing economics. Everything that happens through the services side, where we're earning revenue there, generates incredible data for the actual brand side, and those work together really nicely. The solid value fundamentals, where the shares and where the stock is trading today is roughly in the fintech range. It's not really trading towards that potential range of the AI side, and there's a lot of potential evolution on that front. And we're positioned to lead a new category. That's really where we want to be. We don't want to be the third, fourth, or fifth in a well-trodden, well-worn category. We're looking to leverage this technology to combine elements of a bunch of different industries and deliver a consumer-facing product that is different, that delivers a different value proposition, and ultimately we can price at a premium. So that's what we've been working on, and that's what we're incredibly excited to continue executing on into 2026. 2025 has been extremely exciting. We've accomplished a lot, and 2026 is going to be a really big year as a lot of this comes online and really starts to grow, and we start to see the fruits of our labor as well. So thanks very much, and looking forward to digging into some questions.
Awesome. That was great, Alex. Really appreciate you walking us through that for us. Um, just before we get going here, just want to remind viewers that if you'd like to propose a question, you can drop it into the chat at any point, and at the end of this, we'll go through those and make sure that we respond to as many as we can. But on my side, to start things off, you touched on this earlier, Alex. One of the most notable announcements in the last couple of months was your national channel partnership with TaxMax, which expanded your automotive retail footprint by approximately 400% across hundreds of dealers in the US. Can you explain to us sort of why this partnership is transformative for your company and how you're taking advantage of this sort of expanded footprint to grow your future payments business?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, the TaxMax transaction was really interesting for us, and takes advantage of a really unique and cool business that has a great distribution channel. And the distribution channel is really focused around leveraging tax refunds for auto purchases, which
Yep.
obviously is concentrated around tax season. And so the working in with them of financially optimized solutions for consumers delivered through dealers and able to sort of fit in around their core product was just a bit of a no-brainer for the TaxMax team. So when we think about the existing footprint that we have of these 250 dealers that are currently contributing customers to the platform, we generate between 10 and 20 deals a month from the majority of our existing dealers. And have quite a good strong legacy base in kind of the New York area with a little bit of concentration in Florida as well. And
Yep.
this new partnership gives us national distribution. So of the portion of their footprint that does do loans, which is kind of critical path for our distribution, it allows us to grow our footprint by about 400%. Now, obviously, that those need to come online. There needs to be the sales push to sign contracts and get all of that. That doesn't necessarily give us those out of the gate. But
Right.
the distribution channel for the product has increased quite substantially. And on each brand new user that comes in, the way the economics break down, the dealer and the FM earns a commission for each new user that signs up for the platform. And then we as a platform end up earning between $9 and $10 US a month net of cost of acquiring that customer. And then those users are sticky for anywhere between 3 to 5 years. It's basically tied to the length of the loan. Some
Yep.
initiatives that we are really working on in 2026 are increasing kind of the renewal rates of those, so reducing attrition at the end, and also making sure that when a user signs up in the dealership, they're getting all the way through the onboarding process and actually coming online as well. So some of those things are metrics that we'll start to report on and talk about a little bit more through 2026 as well.
Oh, that's great. Maybe pivoting a little bit here, looking at Payments 2.0, that was another major milestone that occurred. How did that new architecture modernize Future's payment platform, and what improvements can dealers and consumers expect as you transition to a more AI-enabled payments environment?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was really one of the key reasons and key pieces around doing the initial strategic transaction back in February was to add technology to this existing really strong core business of auto loan optimization. And so if you look at kind of some of the legacy technology, there's a lot more manual, there's a lot of paper based, there's a lot more chasing, a lot more back and forth, a lot more friction. And it just limited the scalability of some of the technology. There wasn't really much AI being used through the legacy rails. And so with 2.0, it really does a couple of things. So one, it's just seamless ease of use and ease of onboarding. So we recently announced that we completed some integrations that actually give us access to about 70% of the US auto dealers, which is roughly 11,000 dealers. Again, that's not dealers that are signed up for the platform, but we have now the tech integration with those dealers through some of these partnerships. And so the ability to, in several clicks, be able to bring on a user and have all of that auto loan information end up in the system and be able to turn on turn on the product simply and easily. That's been a complete game changer for us. It makes education so much easier. It makes that attrition and look to book conversion rate quite a bit easier. So a lot of this is around dealer onboarding, customer onboarding. That opens up multiple loan types as well for just having a user optimize their auto loan. With this 2.0 platform and structure, you can also add mortgages, you can add in student loans, you can start to add in other loan types. So it really is kind of critical path for us to take what was a great business model with a little bit older technology and add this kind of AI powered agent driven optimization. And we're just starting to see the fruits of that labor as well.
That's great. I think you touched on the AI agents. I'll jump over to this one. You recently announced the appointment of Damien Fozard to the advisory board. His background in safety critical AI systems across aerospace and defense is unique for a consumer finance platinum. What role is Damien going to play in building Future's next generation high fidelity AI?
Yeah, absolutely. And the example I always kind of use is it doesn't matter if a chat GPT changes the name of a character in a kid's story that you're asking it to tell your daughter at bedtime from the start to the end. But if you're asking it to fly a plane, like it cannot mess that up and it cannot mess up those sort of more high fidelity transactions. And that's really sort of the hidden secret, the wink wink nudge nudge of the AI world right now. It's really, really, really powerful, but you kind of can't trust a lot of it to do really important things because it hallucinates, because it has wrong outcomes, because it's not, there's not really the auditability. It's a bit of a black box, all of those kind of things. And so when we're thinking about what we call high fidelity AI, we're trying to look for what's the global standard. And so Damien has built some of the best and most highly regarded high reliability safety critical systems through Core AVX, the company that he founded and continues to under different branding today. Or under Squints today as his new platform, and so I mentioned NASA, Boeing, and Airbus as some of the partners that he's built solutions for, and that's really the type of the North Star of the type of AI that we're building. Paying off your mortgage is not quite the same as flying a plane, but it needs to be really, really, really good. So when we're talking about agent-driven financial services and agent-driven banking, that needs to be no hallucinations. It needs to be correct. You need to be able to audit why it's making decisions. And so that's really where Damien's playing a role is in helping us to make sure that we're operating at that world-class standard of reliability for the underlying engine.
Awesome. Maybe just to switch over to partnerships real quick. You recently announced your AI-powered insurance integration with Southampton Financial. How does embedding instant bindable home and auto insurance quotes directly inside the Future AI Agent app improve customer value? And overall, what do how do you see this for the, sorry, I'm reading and saying at the same time. I bungled that question, but um, how do you see it improving your overall customer value and expanding your potential revenue opportunities?
Yeah, no, great question. So it's one of the key places where a we can't, the agent can't write you an insurance policy.
Right.
It's for a bunch of reasons. And so working with curated world-class partners like Southampton and their brands, Onlia, Cheap, Aha, and those words are the perfect use of this type of technology. So the future agent can do a great job in curating all the data that needs to go in. It can do a great job in extracting data, making it intelligent, putting together that proper quote package, delivering it in a simple, easy, seamless behind the scenes way over to, a licensed intermediary such as an Onlia or a Southampton, and
Yeah.
then delivering and interpreting and delivering back that quote to an end user. So to us, if you look at sort of the existing way of getting into insurance, you either call up somebody or you go to rates.ca and try and remember all of the stuff that it asks you, and then you never see that data again, and somebody picks up the phone and calls you, and just all of the friction that's inherent in insurance, we can almost completely eliminate that by dropping in a PDF and having a 2-second chat with your agent, and right away, this personalized insurance quote comes back for you. So it's an initial use case in terms of the financial services connectivity, but to us it speaks to such a broader power of what we can do with this agent when you have that high reliability, high fidelity AI that you know what you're pulling out of all of this information and you know how to curate and collect it. And also when you know that you have the right connective fabric with the right partners, such as Southampton, that you can have faith in where that data is going. You know what you're getting back, and you know that you're sort of using that data in the right way to get the best results and the best outcomes and the best outputs for your users. So when we see that, it really is kind of, if we think about everything, every piece of financial services or the broader applications of the agent, that's all powered by this nucleus of really good data. Insurance is such a good first place to start. A,
Yep.
because we have great partners, but B, because it's such a data-driven space and data has so much power in the insurance world. So that we really think about that as a critical place for expansion. And when we start thinking about revenue, if we can back to our cost of acquiring a customer, if we can deliver better leads, better outcomes, better customers, and ultimately better experiences, then we see significant revenue appreciation and revenue opportunities on the brand side through insurance vehicles as well as through other financial services verticals.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Maybe we can just touch on ZoneTail for a moment here too. You recently launched Canada's first AI-powered rent reporting program. Why is rent reporting such a compelling use case for Future's agent, and how does this partnership accelerate Future's presence in the real estate and rental
Yeah,
ecosystem?
absolutely. So, I mean, it's one of the most important relationships and important financial relationships that people have, especially, the rent is oftentimes one of the largest or the largest thing that people pay. And for
Yeah.
years and years and years, it was invisible to credit. And so it's been identified as a priority budget item in both the Canadian and several states legislation to be able to have rent be reported as a credit item. And most financial credit bureaus do accept it now. So Equifax does, TransUnion is almost there, and I think will be in the very near term. But the fabric of reporting from a property management company over to Equifax, that isn't really there. And
Yeah.
so there's not really clear standards around what you need to put in, how it works, who connects where, all of that. It's a perfect use case for an AI agent that can ingest a lease, ingest lease payments, connect up to a bank account, prove out that the rent was paid, know what needs to be reported, have the connective fabric out to Equifax, and take the data back and accrue it to a credit profile that can then be leveraged to go and do other things and go do other financial services. So we're really excited to work with ZoneTail, who has a great footprint across Ontario and the rest of the country in terms of offering this type of seamless solution. So to be able to have tenants who is a great data-driven relationship with tenancy in general, and cross-selling to insurance and pieces like that, be able to reward people for putting lease agreements and putting rental receipts into the engine, and ultimately be able to make it seamless and easy to report that over to Equifax and make sure that the cost is extremely competitive with what's out there in the market already.
That's great. I've got two more questions here, and then we're going to open up the line to listeners. Second one, or second to last, you've emphasized that the AI agent app is designed to put money back into consumers' wallets through data rewards, optimized payments, and personalized financial tools. As adoption grows, what new features or expansions should investors be on the lookout for in 26?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's as much expanding as it is deepening. So as we think about the auto space that we're already in, you can I mentioned the word, the number $2,000 in interest over the course of an auto loan. The average consumer spends $650,000 in interest in their life, and the majority of that is obviously in your mortgage. As lengths of mortgages start to extend and extend and extend. The interest savings of optimizing that timing of those and mortgage contracts are quite a bit more complex as well. So there is more value. There's some incremental value in having an agent read it, to process it, and help you hit all of those more esoteric targets and prepayment allowances and all of that stuff. So when we think about the mortgage space, you can easily save $100,000 if you're early enough in your mortgage and start to optimize the payment schedule. So we almost think about it as like each day you don't do this is just like that's your morning coffee every day out the window by kind of not taking advantage of some of this stuff. And so I think you'll start to see a little bit of an expansion in verticals for sure. So auto being sort of our core place right now, but into some adjacent stuff like home. Yeah, we just announced the appointment of Dave Zitting earlier in the week, who built PMRI, one of the largest mortgage originators in the U.S., and has been building his own platform since then. And so you'll start to see that. You'll also start to see the data and the brand side come online in conjunction with those verticals. So from auto loan optimization to auto insurance to refinancing to auto dealership lead generation, and really making sure that we're leveraging that underlying data on behalf and for the benefit of the consumer. And then from the home side, HVAC, mortgage insurance, home insurance, all of those sort of associated products. As the agent starts to be able to ingest comprehensive mortgage data, and really become the home vaults, become your home agent that can really help in a lot of ways there. So that's how we really think about expansion, is in terms of verticals and the services that attach to them.
Oh, that's great. I think you may have actually just stolen my last question from me, which was any near-term milestones that investors should be on the lookout for as you kind of look ahead to the very early start of 26.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just from starting with kind of the core business, you'll start to see us report out on more metric-based, underlyings there, whether that is retention ratio or look to book, or the dealer base or deals per month, and growth on those sides. So stay tuned for those metrics, and then for the targets and the ways that we're looking at those. That's purely from sort of a dealer-driven onboarding or dealer-driven auto onboarding piece. And as mentioned, you'll start to see the expansion of verticals into some new side there. Stay tuned for the first brand revenues as we really start to leverage that data monetization and prove out that flywheel that we can reward people for data and earn from brands on that data.
Yeah.
So you'll start to see that in Q1 as well. We will look to add services and add features and functionality to the application, and that may be organic, or that may be more of a capital markets transaction. So there may be some additional features and platforms added to the overall company as well. So stay tuned to that, as that's really where we can pick up users and technology and revenue and services as well, from a highly strategic point of view. So those are some of the catalysts that we're building towards through next year.
All right. Well, we're going to move on now to the questions that we received in advance. And then likewise, if anyone on the line would like to submit one while we're going through these, please feel free. First question from the audience is, where do you see the biggest near-term revenue opportunities for Future with the recent introduction of both insurance rent reporting and the refinancing offers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest near term is in growth in the core platform. So yeah, this major upside in distribution channels that we've just launched, as well as some additional sales resources. I think we will see a significant expansion in revenue in that core business and core driver. The insurance referrals from that side, so that just takes advantage of our existing core revenue base and existing core user base. That's probably where we'll see the biggest driver in terms of the brand side.
Yep.
On the insurance brand monetization, rent reporting, we will see some nice pickup that'll be coming online through Q1 as well, and that's another service. So that's direct monetization, not not the commission-based monetization. So we will see some nice revenue pickup from that. Switching the model or evolving the model from a dealer-driven consumer base into more of a direct onboarding consumer base. That opens up, the total addressable market in terms of auto and in terms of mortgage. So we are working on that evolution and can start to see some of that come online over 26 as well.
Awesome. Additionally, what other potential verticals are you considering getting into next? And would you, if you decide to enter those, build the capability out internally, or would you need to acquire in order to do so?
Yeah, very good question. So I'd mentioned mortgages and home. Obviously, the telecom space is a absolute perfect place for this as well. It is highly data driven. It's highly competitive. People are highly cost sensitive. It's highly complex of what you have, what discounts, all of that. Also, it's highly technologically driven already, so it really is a nice place to fit agents into. So we'll be looking to to have some telecom presence and some telecom partnerships and on the the brand and the consumer side. From that perspective, what we love about this technology is that to deliver a new vertical like that, whether it is insurance or telco, there isn't really a change in the core technology because it's data driven, intelligence driven, and there's a little bit of data connectivity that needs to get done. But ultimately, the building blocks are really the same for a lot of the verticals. How you structure offers, how you process offers, how you collect data, how you derive insights from it, how you create the outputs or the instructions to do things to the agent. That's all universal across every industry and every vertical. So that's one of the reasons we're really excited about the scalability of this as we add new verticals. It's really opportunity driven rather than a new CapEx requirement in order to build that out. That being said, some of the features and sort of targeted customized functionality that we want to add to the application, whether that's financial planning or budgeting or some of the more nuanced kind of core things that are there, those might be where we choose to acquire an existing business or an existing set of solutions and then deliver the agent, deliver the wallet, deliver all of those future value propositions into that, just to really grow out the functionality and grow out the user base and grow out the solution set. But that's we'll be very, very targeted and strategic on that side.
You touched on telecom here, so I have a question for you in terms of how it all fits together. So, is it beneficial for say you're talking about the big three in Canada, right? The Rogers, Bell, TELUS, to partner with them individually in order to ingest their data and be able to make recommendations for consumers? Or can you sort of make recommendations potentially for consumers, this is down the road, without their partnership?
No, great question. I mean, fundamentally, this is a consumer-facing business and a consumer-driven business and works for consumers. And so, it is going to be working on your data and working with your data to reward you and compensate you and find you great offers. We will, as I mentioned, have that symbiotic two-way relationship with brands. And so, we could or potentially will have access to different offers than are available to the broader public. But fundamentally, this is a consumer-facing platform that we need to be very conscious about delivering value out to the consumer. So yeah, we will focus on the consumer.
Makes sense. All right. Last one we got here is how does Future plan to leverage its growing dealer and brand network to accelerate AI agent adoption across the US and Canada?
Yeah, great question. And some of it is really around, what can an AI agent do and how do we most effectively deliver that?
Yeah.
So you're looking at a cute, cuddly, a robot in a hoodie right now, as in terms of the AI agent. An AI agent can take on all kinds of forms. So as we start to work closer with dealers in the US and through the dealer management system and broadly into more verticals, that'll look like that can take some different forms. So we're really trying to deliver out the functionality of an AI agent, this high fidelity AI stack, the concept of consumer rewards for data, and plugging in all of this, these segregated data vaults and all of that. And so a lot of the distribution of the technology technology will happen, as delivering the value propositions. So I think when we think about continued distribution through the US and through Canada, it'll be as value-added services to stuff that you're already kind of used to. And whether that is, a hyper intelligent chatbot that fits within an existing platform that happens to be powered by all of this agentic AI solution, or reward or data rewards that look and feel like cashback or look and feel like loyalty programs or things like that. So a lot of this functionality will be delivered through channels that where consumers are already doing transactions and where consumers already are, rather than necessarily as download this app fresh, set up your own agent, have something that's really kind of futuristic. That's always the way that we've tackled this type of technology, is it needs to be delivered to where consumers are to help them do things better than they're doing them right now.
Perfect. Well, that concludes the questions that we've received today. And Alex, I really want to thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of our investors for tuning in as well. As a reminder, a replay of the chat will be available in the investor relations section on Future's website, hopefully within 24 hours, midday tomorrow. In the meantime, please feel free to contact future@kcsa.com if you have any further questions, if we're not able to address them for you today. Thank you, everyone, and until next time.